I got asked to talk more about how skinny is in under fascism, and when you see the rise of authoritarianism, you see cultural preferences shift toward thinness for women, often extreme thinness, and we see this in Republican women themselves. We see an unnatural, concerning level of thinness from women on the right, whether they are Maha women like Jewel Kilcher or whether they are Republican members of Congress like Nancy Mace. These are women who have gotten tremendously thin, concerningly thin, as they seek to uphold the beauty standards of the far right. And we could talk about Republican makeup and Republican fashion. That's a whole other issue, although they are connected. It is disturbing to see the way that heavy eye makeup, lots of plastic surgery and filler, certain hairstyles and enhancements are really, preferred amongst Republicans. And at the same time, this very, very thin body shape, this significant prioritization of being very, very skinny. This is not unique to the Trump regime. This is a hallmark of authoritarianism. I know I've said this in the past, touched on it a little bit, but when you see a government, a regime that wants to exert more and more control over you, take away more and more of your rights, especially control more and more of women, take away autonomy from women, make sure that men have more control over our bodies, we see this elevation of a beauty standard of extreme thinness. And that's for multiple reasons, but all of them are related to the fact that the regime is intentionally using a standard of thinness to control you. The first reason is because if you as a woman are constantly occupied with trying to shrink your body, to make yourself physically smaller, you are giving so much of your attention and your energy to monitoring what foods you consume, the quantity of foods you consume, how your body looks to other people, how much space your body takes up, and trying to minimize that as much as possible. When you are preoccupied with how much you're eating, when you're think about when you've dieted in the past. Almost every American has dieted at some point. I did. In college, I kept a food diary because I knew I was getting married and I had gained the freshman 15 and I was trying to fit into my wedding dress. And I kept a food diary and I kept track of everything I was eating. The amount of energy I spent doing that and the way that it reduced my ability to enjoy my food, enjoy the company of other people in the dining hall, the way I was preoccupied with shrinking myself. I didn't have a sufficient amount of energy for things that really mattered. And that is what the Trump regime is hoping from women. Any authoritarian is hoping from women. If you have to spend all of your energy focusing on maintaining your tiny body size, then you are not going to have the bandwidth to fight against the terrible things that they're doing. You're going to be distracted from all of the terrible things that they're doing. And of course, let's add to that when you're dieting all of the time and trying to keep your body unnaturally small, then you're hungry all the fucking time. You're weak, you're tired, you're hungry, you're not getting sufficient nutrition, you're not taking care of your body, you are abusing your body. Tired, hungry, exhausted, malnourished people can't fight back as well, can we? The preoccupation with thinness is all about social control, especially social control of women. Right? Think about what Naomi Wolf said. A cultural fixation on female thinness is not an obsession about female beauty, but an obsession about female obedience. And I would be remiss if I did not mention here the way that women's sexuality is part of our power, right? Conservatives, men on the right, Christo-fascists, one of the ways that they want to deprive women of their power is by limiting our sexuality and vilifying our sexuality. And I think about the way that in Republican states and on a national level from Project 2025, we are seeing this demonization of women's healthy sexuality and sexual agency. We're seeing an attack on women who produce adult material, women who make their living making that kind of content. We also see Project 2025 wants to make it a crime, a felony, punishable by 10 years in prison or a $100,000 fine to possess or create spicy romance novels. So they want to make it illegal for you to read them or even possess them, much less write them, right? Your favorite romance novelist, Ali Hazelwood, your favorite, she's not my favorite, by the way, she's just the first that came to mind. Your favorite audiobook narrator, they want to put those folks in prison for writing material, narrating material that women enjoy, that is sexually empowering to women. Fascist regimes not only want to control your reproduction. Under Benito Mussolini, we saw all abortion and birth control become illegal, and that's exactly what folks like J.D. Vance and Donald Trump want to do now. We've seen the Christo-fascist Supreme Court strip us of Roe v. Wade. We are seeing conservative judges and politicians try to remove birth control. But it's not just your reproduction. They want to control your sexuality as well. And every time I think about that, I also think of the Naomi Wolf quote, "To ask women to become unnaturally thin is to ask them to relinquish their sexuality." And that's because when you are focused on reducing your body size, when you are constantly disapproving of the way your body is shaped and saying, this is not good enough, I must make myself smaller to be acceptable in this society and acceptable to men. It's very hard to see yourself as sexy. It's very hard to own your sexuality and be proud of who you are when you are constantly being told that you are too large, that your body is ugly, it's unacceptable to the culture, and you must shrink it. A culture that pushes thinness and pressures you to diet all the time is not only harmful for your body, it's really harmful for your conception of the self. And this is a good time to bring in another layer to this. There was a great piece that came out by Afropunk late last year by Leslie Vargas. It's entitled "The People's Ozempic: Thinness, White Supremacy, and Fascism." As always, I'm going to quote a little bit from it, but you should go read the full piece. Ozempic has emerged as the latest symbol of society's cultural obsession with thinness, fueled by TikTok trends and pharmaceutical quick fixes. Listening to the debates surrounding the supposed preference for thinness, I began to challenge the idea that wanting to be thin is simply a personal choice. Thinness isn't just a preference, it's a status symbol that has shaped beauty standards and defined societal hierarchies. While Ozempic is marketed as a diabetes drug, its widespread adoption as a weight loss tool reveals something far more insidious: the enduring grip of fat phobia, a system deeply intertwined with white supremacy and fascism, perpetuating harmful ideals under the guise of health and preference. I mean, I would also argue that all of MAHA under RFK Jr., all of Make America Healthy Again, is also perpetuating harmful ideals under the guise of health and preference. Later today, I think I'll talk about how Donald Trump brought back the presidential fitness test for kids, because that's all part of this. Okay, back to the article. Fat phobia did not materialize out of thin air. It was cultivated to reinforce systems of white supremacy. Historians like Dr. Sabrina Strings, author of Fearing the Black Body: The Racial Origins of Fat Phobia, have traced the origins of fat stigma to 18th century Europe and the US. During this period, colonial pseudoscience weaponized body size as a means to differentiate Black women from white women, pathologizing larger Black bodies as undesirable, uncivilized, and inherently inferior. Thinness, by contrast, became a marker of whiteness, morality, and social status. For white women, maintaining a thin figure was not just about beauty, but a way to perform racial superiority. This belief system reinforced the idea that controlling one's body through diet, restriction, and self-discipline was evidence of a higher moral character, aligning with the broader goals of white supremacy. I completely agree with everything she just said. Over time, thinness has transcended race, becoming a symbol of wealth and privilege across communities. For Black women, thinness now operates as a form of social capital, a means to navigate a world that polices Black bodies with even greater scrutiny. In spaces where thinness is equated with success, health, and desirability, Black women are pressured to conform to these standards, further erasing the rich diversity of body types within the Black community. Ozempic's rise in popularity underscores how thinness has evolved into a commodity, accessible primarily to those with financial privilege. Fascism thrives on uniformity and control, and its relationship with body politics is no exception. Fat phobia aligns seamlessly with fascist ideologies by upholding rigid standards of what bodies should look like and who deserves full humanity. Fat bodies are cast as lazy, undisciplined, undesirable, coded language that echoes broader societal disdain for those who deviate from white patriarchal norms. In fascist societies, the policing of bodies is both literal and symbolic. For example, eugenics movements often promoted ideal bodies as part of a broader campaign to engineer a superior race. Today, the cultural obsession with weight loss reflects those same fascist ideals, demanding conformity and punishing those who dare exist outside of a body's range of acceptability. The rise of Ozempic as a people's drug reveals the extent to which thinness continues to be a cultural obsession and a tool of oppression. By confronting the radicalized history of fat phobia and its entanglement with white supremacy, we can begin to dismantle the systems that police our bodies and deny our humanity. Okay, come back for part 2, because I have a lot more to say on this.